Imagine the scenes if McNamara knocks off Duke with Sieta, dude.
I think Alabama still has enough in Phylon to get him over Hofstra, but I don't know, man. It's Frisky.
A little different look from the Broncos coming in this next season. You can't even say puts them over the top because, I mean, they should have been in the Super Bowl.
Venezuela has completed the WBC championship. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. We are back for episode number 98, inching closer and closer to episode number 100. We got some spicy stuff for you guys for episode 100, but we'll keep that under wraps until then. But yeah, another jam-packed episode for you guys. Fuzzy boy, tell the people what we got coming up on this March 17th.
Dude, so close to episode 100, dude. Not sure. We're going to have to do something special for that. Not sure what that's going to look like. We'll have to figure that out. But like Sam said, big time episode for you guys. March is here, which means March Madness is technically, if you want to get down to it, has already started with the first four tournament going on right now. NC State playing Texas. We'll kind of dive into that, but we're also going to fill out our entire bracket on the podcast here in just a minute. But before I run down everything, if you guys could please like and subscribe on the video here on YouTube, that would help us out a ton, and we would appreciate that a lot. Like we were saying, March Madness is here, and we get started technically officially today, but the big time tournament starts on Thursday, so excited for that. We're going to fill out a podcast bracket, so not just both of our brackets, but we're going to kind of work together to fill out maybe the perfect bracket. Who knows? That would help out the podcast a ton. That'd be sweet. And then right after that, we'll kind of have a shorter segment of everything else kind of in the sports world. Couple big time free agent moves going down in the NFL, as well as some upsets personally to us with Bodo Glimt kind of crashing out in the Champions League. We'll touch on that and all the other games going on, and some crazy news coming out of the AFCON. A tournament final might be totally switched based on corruption and different things like that, so stay tuned for that right at the end. But Sammy boy, currently, I know we don't touch on this a whole lot, but the WBC World Baseball Classic, currently we were down 2-0 in the seventh to Venezuela. A little clash of nationalities for me, but obviously rooting for the USA. But yeah, not looking good for our boys right now after that close one in the pool play, relying on Italy, but made our way to the final, but not looking great.
Yeah, for sure. Bottom of the seventh, I might add. They just got their first out as well. So, yeah, they're looking really, really solid. Obviously, I feel like a lot of people kind of treat baseball similar to basketball as far as like our dominance and like perceived like we're the best in the world at it. But unlike basketball, there's lots of little countries around that have some ball players, man. Like the Dominican Republic, I know they got some players for sure. The Italians, a lot of them are like dual nats, but I mean they got some players over there too. I'm surprised Mexico didn't do better. So there's several teams. Japan, they got knocked out early. That was a little bit of an upset.
I was surprised. Yeah,
but yeah, not surprised at all. Venezuela kind of coming in clutch here, obviously giving us some huge trouble. I feel like the U.S. kind of came into this tournament thinking that they were going to win it all with relative ease. Maybe that's not necessarily the case. Like once we get down to business, like the final here, based on the teams we play. But yeah, needed a little help just to get into the knockout rounds after we definitely mismanaged that situation. But yeah. How much of I have a question for you. How much do you, like when this happens, Venezuela, U.S., like how much are you tilting Venezuela's side? I know you were just born there and basically immediately came over here, so it's not quite like me where I spent 18 years of my life in Romania. But yeah, how much are you drawn to rooting for Venezuela here?
Oh, literally like none at all. My brother and sister were born in Venezuela. I was actually born here, so I'm literally...
Okay.
I'm literally
zero
like, I'm like through and through. I lived in Venezuela for like 3 years of my life. Like right when I was born, we went back and then moved back to the States when I was 3. Have zero memories of Venezuela. So yeah, through and through rooting for the US. I always just like to joke
Fair.
about it. It's like interesting to, you're like just to think about in my mind. Like again, it's different for you cuz like you have memories, you can speak another language, like you grew up there, like totally different on my end where it's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm Venezuelan." Like, kind of like when something like this happens and like, "Oh yeah, shoot, I'm not just American. I'm like partly Venezuelan, half Venezuelan." So it's like, but when it comes to rooting, I'm always gonna root for the U.S. unless it's like like if it was Venezuela versus Japan, I'd be like, forget Venezuela all the way. But
Yeah.
when it comes down to the U.S., I mean, I'm American through and through, so always gonna be rooting for the boys. But yeah, I think we took this a little lightly. It was kind of like I think I called it on the pod like Avengers 2.0, like the last time we had it. Obviously we took a strong team, ended up in the final, lost to Japan, in
Yep.
that epic Trout versus Otani, final at bat, which
Mm-hmm.
was awesome. But that wasn't like we didn't have Harper, Judgy wasn't there. But this
Yeah.
time we brought out all the big guns, and I kind of think we thought it was going to be a cakewalk, but we had to scrap our way to the final and now find ourselves down 2-0. So a little bit of that
Yeah.
American arrogance, I guess you could say, taking effect. I don't know if that's how you see it or not.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit. We still got a couple innings here, so it's not over
Yeah.
yet by any stretch of the imagination. But
Oh
yeah, I
no.
think maybe some of the guys on the U.S. team trying to build off like the hockey hype and all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, thinking that they were gonna not coast. I feel like we're kind of selling them short here as far as how easily they were gonna take it here. But yeah, definitely just not necessarily cruising. We've definitely had to scrap in most of the games that we've played so far. So yeah, definitely a little harder than maybe we made it out to seem for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But again, we don't cover a lot of baseball, but obviously when something like a tournament this magnitude happens, like we're gonna kind of stay tapped in. I know I've watched a couple of the games. Fell asleep to the DR game the other night because it was just so freaking late. I was watching in bed and fell asleep, but obviously score watching, staying tapped in, rooting on the boys, and hopefully they pull it out while we're on the
It,
podcast here.
last thing I'll add to that, I did see like a ratings thing that apparently the Italy Mexico game that really had no, you know, well, it did have technically, implications, but it
Mm-hmm.
had more viewership than some of the US games so far, just
Really?
because everyone was watching to see if the US would make it or not. So
Right. Right.
love us or hate us if we have a stacked team or not. Like you're watching to see if we're gonna qualify or not. So
Exactly.
it's
Everybody's
funny.
preying on our downfall, and so it's good for ratings at the end of the day. But speaking of big time tournaments, March Madness starting Thursday, we're going to fill out a bracket here coming up shortly, so stay tuned for that. If you're anything like me, you love hats, but not just any hats. You want a hat that looks good, but is also made with quality materials as well. And you want it to fit just the way you want it to. That's why we've partnered with Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company to bring you guys hats that do just that. I love my Cowboy Revolution hats. They're rugged and aesthetic. So whether I'm at work or podcasting, I know my hats will hold up and look great. They not only have hats, but a wide variety of apparel and accessories as well. Cowboy Revolution is also a veteran-owned and operated company, so you know where your money is going and you can feel good about it. Get your hats and apparel today at cowboyrevolution.com and use the code FTS15 for 15% off your order, or use the link in the description below. That's FTS15 for 15% off your order today. All right, people, here we go. We have a bracket. Games officially started tonight, but the actual bracket part of everything will get going here on Thursday. The first game is
Rip
actually
UMBC. Rip.
dude. Yeah, off the bat, rip to them. First game already done. UMBC will
My
not be
retrievers,
making it.
man.
They technically count these as a tournament win, which I think is such a
That
fraudulent thing
was
because
stupid.
like I don't know. It's like part of the tournament, but technically it's not part of the tournament because we can still fill out our brackets up until Thursday. So it's like, well, it really wasn't part of the tournament then. Like we could wait until the end of these games, but whatever. Games getting started on Thursday. The first game is actually here, I believe, in Greenville. Ohio State and TCU will get us started here at 12. I think it's like 12 tip-off, noon tip-off on Thursday. But we're going to do something a little different than we've done in the past. Usually we would have Peter and Jared on, and we'd kind of go through all of our brackets individually and see who we got. But what we're going to do to kind of keep it a little more concise and maybe a little faster, Sammy Boy and I are going to actually fill out a bracket together. We're going to kind of try to see if we can bring our minds together and agree on some things, which we typically do, but I'm sure there'll be some teams that we're not quite aligned on. Like, I think Siena's going to beat Duke. Jokes aside, no, I don't think they're actually going to do that. But I would love.
Gonna say it's starting off hot.
I would love
dude.
nothing more than that. But that is a good segue into the first game that we'll highlight. If I can actually pull up my freak, there we go. Technology, not my friend. Here we go. We will pull up the bracket. There we go. Technology. Here we go. We're gonna start in the East, top left, with Duke and Siena. I was joking, all jokes aside, Duke's going to mow through Siena. But, dude, imagine the scenes if McNamara knocks off Duke with Siena, dude. As a Syracuse fan, that would bring me so much joy. Like, dude,
yeah, he'd immediately have a lifetime contract with you boys.
Dude,
without
literally
even coaching you guys yet.
I was watching a podcast today, Ion College Basketball podcast that I listened to, and they were joking around, and they were just like, if Coach McNamara beats Duke with Siena opening day, he will be the Syracuse coach by midnight that night. But then the other guy was like, actually, no, if he beats Duke with Siena, he will be Duke's head coach, and John Shire has to coach Syracuse.
Yeah, dude.
Just like that's what's on the line. But obviously, all jokes aside, that's not what's going to happen. A few of these games we'll be able to go through pretty quickly because even though I was joking, I'm pretty sure you have Duke in this one. Am I right?
I do have Duke.
You have Duke. All right, done and dusted. First one. What? Why can't I fill it out? Am I doing this right? Oh, we got to fill this out. Why can't I select it? Whatever. All right. I'll figure that out as we keep going here. The next one, like I said, starting out Ohio State, TCU. This one's a bit more of a toss-up. Ohio State has been playing great coming into the tournament, had a decent run in the Big Ten tournament, came up short. I'm pretty sure Bruce Thornton is their main player. He's Ohio State's current all-time leading scorer. Ohio State hasn't been in the tournament in 4 years. They were kind of on the ropes this year until they really came on second half of the season, find themselves as an 8 seed in the tournament. But TCU coming out of the Big 12, really, really good team as well, can defend. They got a player named Punch, who's their leading scorer, also leading rebounder, I'm pretty sure, who's really, really solid. Probably going to get a good deal in the transfer portal after this season. But I don't know who you got in this one. I'm leaning. This one's such a toss-up. I am a big believer in the Big 12, so I think I'm probably going to lean the stronger conference in this one, just going with TCU, even though they're ranked lower. But how do you see this kind of playing out?
I actually got Ohio State. I like what they have with their size as well. I know they've lost several of their quote unquote bigger games that they played this year, but like you were saying, end of the season was strong. They had a good little run in the Big Ten tournament. I actually, one of the big reasons that I have them over TCU is because I got a nice up and close personal look at TCU in the Big 12 tournament when they beat my Cowboys. And they just didn't look super in control to me. It looked like they were down for most of the game. Punch, like you were saying, David Punch who's they're supposed to be their best player. He was not having a good game at all. And just kind of when we played them this year, they've gotten the best of us more often than not. I think that was the third time that we played them, but each time we played them, we were like in the game, until the end, which obviously I'm not just evaluating them on just playing us, but super streaky team, it feels like to me. So for that reason, I went with Ohio State just based on more recent results.
Ohio State. All right. More recent results. I feel like I could probably get with that. I don't know.
Bruce Thornton, man, averaging like 22 points a game.
Yeah, and he's really good. You know what? I think I'm gonna go Ohio State too. I feel like that's probably. I mean, they pushed Michigan a couple times in the season as well. I almost said my alma mater, friggin' TC3, TCU. Way better school than TC3. Definitely did not. They put up a fight in the Big 12, but definitely nothing like Ohio State in their conference. So, I'm all right going Ohio State here. All right, St. John's over Northern Iowa. Who we got here? Probably pretty simple. St.
Yeah,
John's.
Johnny's.
All right, Kansas Cal Baptist. Pretty simple as well. Kansas.
KU.
Perfect, perfect. All right, another toss up, even though the seed line's a little closer. Number 6, Louisville versus number 11, South Florida. This one is a match made in match made in heaven. When it comes to play styles, both teams want to get up and down the floor, score points at a high clip. I think Louisville has the better player if he's playing, and Michael Brown. Obviously, he's going to be a lottery pick coming up in this next draft. But South Florida, not one to be messed with. Also, their head coach, good feel good story from Buffalo. This game will be taking place in Buffalo. His dad has Alzheimer's, and he will be able to actually watch his son coach for the first time ever because they're going to be playing in Buffalo, where the head coach is from, which is awesome. Not sure if this puts me over the top, but we got to find some upsets here. So kind of want to get your thoughts before I kind of dive into what I think will happen. But I will say I'm probably leaning South Florida just based on we need an upset. And I'm not super high on Louisville, like Louisville, but not high on them. I don't think they had a really good season, but what say you?
Yeah, I was pretty 50-50 on this as well. I actually picked Louisville, but I have zero problem going with South Florida. I think their conference this year was a little bit underrated. Obviously, you don't really think of their conference as being, too much to mess with, but they had actually 2 or 3 teams who were kind of on the bubble, had really good records. A couple of them were in the NIT. Only reason I know about NIT is because my Cowboys are in there, so don't think I'm some kind of
Ayo.
NIT fanatic. But yeah, solid conference this year. I think South Florida, like you were saying, just got a good squad this year that might be something to be messed with in the tournament. And like you said, Louisville has some flaws, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good
So
with I'm
South
good with
Florida.
that upset. Yeah.
All right, perfect. First upset, 11-6 in the first round. Kind of not a good start for Pat Kelsey. Obviously, has them back in the tournament, but this will be the second year in a row that they'll be out in the first round if our pick holds um, come Thursday. All right, Michigan State, North Dakota State. Michigan State, I assume.
Izzo, yes sir.
Izzo, that's right. All right, another little bit of a toss-up one. UCLA, UCF. I'll kind of just hand it right to you. I'm not sure if this one's close in your mind as it is in mine, but how do you see this game going?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know a ton about either one of these teams. Wasn't able to watch them a ton, but UCLA, I know that they have a pretty good score that's able to play both sides of the basketball. So I'm just because of that reason, I kind of went with them. I know that they've done pretty well in kind of a stacked Big Ten this year, which a lot of people weren't expecting them to do. So for that reason, I picked UCLA.
Interesting. All right. Uh, this one's a lot closer in my mind, just based on the fact that UCF has some big time wins again in a conference that I'm really really high on in the Big 12. Um, My big thing is UCLA has been punching above their weight in the Big Ten, especially in the Big Ten tournament this past week.
Yeah.
But they did lose Donovan Dent, not long term injury, not sure what his status is going to be. Um, Mick Cronin said that he will be playing in this game come Thursday. Not sure what percentage he's going to be at as like health wise. So that's a bit concerning if you're UCLA, but I think I will go UCLA as well because just like if they have Donovan Dent, I think they've just been playing the best down the stretch. And if we know anything about once you hit postseason, it's how you're playing recently, not how you've played all season. And so with that, I think we're both going to go UCLA.
Yeah, and to add to that as well, with UCLA, with them playing a little bit better recently, in the last month they've beaten both Illinois and Michigan State. So those are 2 pretty good marquee wins for them. So
For sure, for sure. All right, next up on the docket, UConn and Furman. We aren't getting crazy here and picking Furman, are we?
no,
No, UConn.
unfortunately. Greenville, South Carolina represent, but
Yeah.
I think
I don't
Dan
know.
Hurley's got that one on lock.
Yeah, we'll take UConn, but would not be upset. I'd be upset for our bracket, but I would not be upset if we had another Virginia situation go down with Furman. That'd
Yeah.
be pretty
That
nuts.
was Dude, whenever I think about March Madness now, that's one of the first things that comes to mind as far as like upsets go with Furman hitting that
Yeah,
deep three and the announcers and everything. That was such a cool moment.
I know, dude. Like, it's all over my timeline. And it's like one of those moments where like you remember Villanova, UNC, Jenkins for the win. Like, obviously that's
Yeah.
like gonna go down in history, but like some of these like last minute plays, you're just like you're watching in the moment and you're just like, yeah, that's great, but then like you get like 3, 4, 5 years down the road and you're like, oh yeah, that really was like an all-time moment in the tournament. Like, just not realizing it in the moment, but like down the
I can
road you're
just
like,
hear Kevin Harlan announcing that.
dude,
It's just
dude.
great.
So like one of the all-time great calls is one of the reasons it's one of the best too. I think that clip of like the call going down probably goes just as viral as the actual like moment where they get that steal late and then they hit the three. Like, definitely big time moment.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for the East. Moving on to, or how should we do this? Should we just keep going all the way down until we have
Sure.
coming
Whatever
out
you
of that
want.
region? All right, we'll just do that. That'll make it so we don't have to wait and come all the way back. All right, moving on. We got Duke versus Ohio State. I don't know in my mind this is gonna be close. I think Duke's really good, so I'm not sure what you're thinking.
Yeah, I got Duke as well.
Got Duke. The Dukies moving on over Ohio State. All
Indeed.
right, here we go. Hall of Fame coaches, two of the best coaches, and arguably one of the best college basketball coaches ever in Rick Pitino versus Bill Self, Kansas. How do you see this one going down?
I actually got St. John's in the next round, beating Kansas. I think Kansas has a lot of question marks around, Darren Peterson. Obviously, he's going to be a lottery pick and everything, but just around his health, somehow we're still talking about that in March. I feel like we've been talking about that all year, but also just the coaching aspect as well. Obviously, Bill Self is an incredible coach, but I think Patino just he knows how to manage these game time situations in March, and I think the Johnnies are destined for another deep run.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Johnny's as well, just based on, I think they're just tougher than Kansas. I don't know. There's been like, and it could just come down to the Darren Peterson thing. They've actually played arguably better when he's not on the floor, but when
Yeah,
he's there, because he's been so in and out of the lineup, their offense, they can defend. They can defend. I don't think that's the issue, but their offense is an issue when Darren Peterson's on the floor, in a way of just continuity is a struggle for them, because they just, they've played so many games without him, figured out a way to win games without him, and then when he's back in the lineup, it's also like, oh, this guy's going to be the number one pick in the draft. Like, of course we need to defer to him, and so it just throws a wrench in a lot of things that Kansas does. So, and just in my mind, I feel like St. John's is the tougher and like mentally tougher team when it comes down to it. So I'm gonna go Johnny's as well. All right, South Florida, Michigan State. Not sure if this is a close one. Some people have South Florida knocking off Michigan State, but again, we got Izzo. So, what are you going here, Sammy?
yeah,
Who do you
I
think?
got Izzo
Yeah,
winning another game here. Pretty easily, I think, in my mind.
yeah,
Like I said, I have Louisville in the next round, but even if it's Louisville or South Florida, I have Michigan State.
yeah. And even though if South Florida wants to like, turn this into a track meet, Michigan State, they're too well coached. They're going to slow it down, but they can also get out and run with Jeremy Fierce and Carr, like super dynamic guards. Or I guess
Hmm.
Carr's not a guard; he's a more of a power forward kind of player, but but like they can get up and down and run the floor as well. So they're accustomed to playing fast as well. So I don't think it's going to throw them off that much. So
Yeah, they have
yeah,
Jackson
Michigan State.
Kohler too, who's been really solid, basically averaging a double double. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, their bigs
he's
are,
he's
I
solid.
think I think they'll be a problem for South Florida's, they're fast and athletic, but you know, basketball is one, like especially college basketball, like if you got one big that's dominant, like let alone two like Michigan State, that can be a huge nullifier to athleticism if you can just bully people down low. So Yeah, Michigan State moving on there. Another one that might be a little closer, but UConn UCLA. Who we got here?
Got UConn as well, winning this game in a tight one against UCLA, but kind of comes down to coach. I feel like so many of these tight matchups, I kind of pick whoever has either the more experience or the better coach, at least in my mind. And UConn obviously been there, done that with Hurley. Did they win? They went back to back, didn't they? Am I
Yeah.
tripping on that? Yeah, back to back. So obviously a lot of tournament experience, and I expect him to get the job done against a good UCLA squad. But I do think UConn has the better team.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that doesn't get talked about enough is UConn went back to back, and that next season where they were going for that three-peat, they took Florida, I guess not technically down to the wire, but they pushed Florida in that game, who was the eventual, national champion. So, and
Yeah.
then Florida's run to the national championship was like, I could have seen UConn easily getting there. And then once UConn's in that final, like, all bets are
Yeah,
off. So
it's true.
kind of we're right there at the end, even though the season didn't look that great. But yeah, we'll go UConn as well, setting up a really, really good matchup against Michigan State and Izzo. All right. Duke versus Johnny, Sammy boy. This one's a little bit closer now that Duke's gotten this far, but who we got here?
I actually have the Johnnies upsetting Duke, and going to the Elite Eight in the next round. I just think, like I said, I think this might be the Johnnies' year. Obviously with Patino, they're only a 5 seed. Um, Speaking of which, I thought they were a little bit underseeded, maybe possibly. But I just think that Duke, they have a lot of injuries and stuff that obviously they were overcoming in the ACC tournament and everything, which is great. But I think that they're gonna have a tough time kind of putting game after game together, despite those injuries. And I got the Johnnies upsetting them.
Interesting. All right, this is where I'm gonna have to. I don't know. You're gonna have to convince me a little bit. You think that the Johnnies have enough to deal with Cameron Boozer and everybody? Like, who's that guy that can absolutely shoot it for? Is it Isaiah? Is it Isaiah Evans? Is that his
Evans,
name?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He averages like 16 points, and they're all from 3.
They're all from 3, and he can catch fire, dude. But
Can.
um another thing with Duke that we haven't talked about up until this point, they're dealing with some injuries right now. Foster's out. Not totally sure if he's even going to make it back. He had surgery on his foot. I'm going to
I
butcher
think he's out for the year.
yeah, they're probably keeping that close to the vest, kind of just not letting people know what, like, if they're going to be at full strength or not. But the other one is it a Ngungba? Is that his last name?
Yeah, I'm Ngongba, I think,
Something like that. But he's slated to be back no later than the second weekend. So, like, they might not have him in the first round. Obviously, don't need that. Ohio State would probably be good to have him, but I think Duke has enough to get past that. But this is where they're really going to need him against St. John's and, like, dealing with Zuby Ejiofor. Like, I think he's going to be a big time nullifier against Cameron Boozer. So if they don't have a gun in Ngungba, like, I could see St. John's definitely getting past Duke because, Zuby will nullify Boozer, and then I think that St. John's has enough wing defense to cover Evans and cover the rest of the guards. But if they have 2 bigs that they can throw at Ejiofor, like, I don't know, I feel like Duke. I don't know, man. That's a lot of ifs.
I mean, obviously Duke has the firepower to win the whole thing if they wanted to, but it's
right.
just so that the case doesn't really need to be made about why Duke could win. It's more of like why Duke could lose.
As I was talking, I think I talked myself out of it because I'm just sitting here
Yeah,
like
sounded like
I
it.
was throwing a lot of ifs in there, and it's like even if uh Gungba or whatever, I'm probably butchering his last name so bad.
Poor guy.
If I know if he's
definitely
back,
listening to this podcast.
if he's back, I think St. John's can probably still win. So you know what? I'll go with you.
Oh
I've
my goodness.
talked myself out of it, and thus forth, you've convinced me. St.
Ngongba
John's
is his name.
Ng-
Ngongba
Ng-
the second.
The second. Wow. All right. All right, another big time coaching matchup. Izzo versus Hurley. UConn versus Michigan State. 2 versus 3. Who we got, Sam?
Yeah, I actually got Michigan State in this one.
All right.
I got Izzo getting the best of Hurley in this one. Despite UConn, obviously coming in 29-5, second seed, very strong season. There's been games this year where they've looked a little bit shaky. So not necessarily because they've lost, but they did lose 2 out of 3 to St. John's, which we were just talking about. And like I said, they've just been a little bit shaky against some of the better competition that they've had so far. MSU, you can kind of make the same case for them, but I just believe a little bit more in the guards that they have over at Michigan State, and kind of some of the reasons we've already laid out. So a little March Madness here. I got MSU upset, and I guess it'd be an upset 2 versus 3. UConn here.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with that as well. Just based on kind of like what we are talking about, the bigs. Michigan State has 2 bigs that are really, really good. UConn has struggled against St. John's, who has the one dominant big, and so I think the size of Michigan State will. And then again, saying Michigan State has 2 really good bigs kind of like is saying that their guards aren't as good. Their guards are fantastic.
Right.
Like Jeremy Fears is on that short list for Naismith Player of the Year, so like having an All-American type season. So, and then again, can't bet against Izzo when it comes to March. So, yeah, Michigan State moves on over UConn, which sets up a Izzo Patino matchup in the Elite Eight. St. John's, Michigan State. Who we got here?
Yeah, this one was one of my tougher picks
Yeah.
as far as really my whole bracket goes. I actually had St. John's beating Michigan State and going to the Final
Interesting.
Four. Patino, with his millionth Final Four, it feels like, with the smaller teams. But I can't really tell you why. I just feel like they might catch a little bit of lightning in a bottle. Maybe not. They're not quite seated low enough to be a Cinderella, but just kind of they have the coach, and I feel like they have some of the right components of a deep run. So I picked them over Michigan State for basically those are the only few reasons that I have.
You
So
don't think Michigan State, like with Kohler and Cooper, you don't think
I
that
completely,
nullifies Zuby Ejiofor?
I mean, it
Because
might, but
that's where I'm looking at this. Like you got
yeah.
2
I mean,
dominant
you could
bigs.
really go either way. Like I said, I'm 50-50 on it. I just kind of was like, they might catch a little lightning in a bottle, see what happens, but I'm fine going either way on this one for our combined bracket. So
Interesting. So you're leaving the decision up to me.
yeah. I feel
Oh
like you've just
boy.
agreed with most of what I said, or have been convinced. So
I have been
I'll leave a
convinced.
big one up to you. How about
Interesting. I'm gonna go Michigan State then. I'm gonna put all the power in my hand, and I'm gonna say Izzo gets it done, finds himself in the Final Four for the
I
first
would love to
time
see that for the record.
in a
That'd be fun
while.
to
Like,
watch.
when's the last time Izzo was in a Final Four? Like 2003. That was
No,
Syracuse.
dude,
It was
they've
like
been.
2000.
I don't
When was
know.
the
I'd
last
have to
time?
look that up.
All right, while Sammy Boy looks that up, we'll hop on over to the South region. Florida versus Prairie View A&M, and the winner of Prairie View A&M and Lehigh. This one's kind of done and dusted. I can put Florida.
2019, 15, 10, 9, 05,
2019,
01. Been
really?
a bunch of
Shoot,
times, brother.
20 as recent as 2019.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
Final Four.
all of these tournaments just blend
They were
together
runner
in
up
my
in
mind.
09.
Wow. I mean, I was 9 years. I don't think I cared about college basketball when I was 9 at that point. I didn't
Yeah.
start caring until high school, really, to be honest.
That was when
But
UNC won. That was the first tournament I actually really watched.
wow,
But
Sammy Boy out
anyways,
here. Um, so I can put Florida down against either Lehigh or
yeah.
Prairie View. All right,
I got
perfect.
Florida going pretty far.
All right, here we go. Hometown team Clemson versus Iowa, 8-9 game. Who we got here? Bennett Sturts might get a little might get hot.
Yeah, I heard of old Bennett Sturts, but I haven't watched Iowa much this year. Clemson's always that frisky team that finds a way against bigger teams and more talented teams to kind of be in it late and give themselves a chance. Not just this year, but obviously last year as well. So honestly, I feel like their coach is a little bit of a dark horse as far as in the
Perpetual
college
hot
ranks.
seat. Yeah.
Yeah. Hot seat, you said?
Yeah, he's like perpetually always on the hot seat, but has like a lifetime
Oh, yeah. He's been there
contract.
since like 2011 or something. He always has decent teams that are in the mix. So for that reason, I picked Clemson.
Clemson.
Don't know a lot about Io for the record, so
Yeah,
kind
they
of
pushed
picking blind
Michigan,
here.
but it's been documented on the podcast that I'm not super high on Michigan. Maybe I have them losing against Howard in the first round. We'll see when we hop up to that side of the bracket.
I
But
mean, they lost like every decent team that they played. So
yeah, I'm gonna go with Clemson as well. I agree with that. Come tournament time, Clemson finds a way, except for last year against McNeese, but we don't
and
talk
they
about
actually had a
that.
squad that year. Unbelievable.
I know that was so upsetting. So upsetting. I wanted to see the big fella. What was his name? Big
PJ
fella.
Hall, dude.
Yeah. No, that was 2
Or
years
no,
ago. Last year was
Shefflin.
Shefflin, the
Yes.
chef. That's right. I was so upset when they went out in the first round in really bad fashion too. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
close near the end. It wasn't close the whole game.
No. Dude, oh
Oh,
yeah, they were down like 1,000,000 points
yeah, to
after the
McNeese.
first half. Yes, I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
Which is a good
Brutal.
segue into the next game, Vanderbilt versus McNeese. This one is a little closer, not on paper, but if you dive into things, McNeese likes to turn teams over, plays really fast. Vanderbilt had a great showing in the SEC tournament, though, losing in the final to Arkansas. Who we got here? We're taking SEC over. What's McNeese even in? Not American. They're
No
in
idea.
like no
Conference
idea,
USA, maybe? I don't know.
something like that. Yeah,
I'm Vandy all the way on this one. I think
yeah.
this might be the perfect example of a team getting hot at the right time. Obviously, winning the SEC a little bit, taking them by surprise. Yeah, I think they're getting hot at the right time, and they have a pretty good squad. I think they'll win a couple games here.
For
Not to
sure.
spoil my next pick, but whatever.
Nashville natives. All right, Nebraska, Troy. This is Nebraska's probably best chance that they've had in forever to get their first NCAA tournament win. The only high major team
They've
to not
never
have.
won an NCAA
They have
game.
never won a NCAA tournament game. Neither has Troy. So
Uh,
someone's coming out of this with their first tournament win in school history. But I think I'll just kind of take it from here. Nebraska, I think, gets it done. I don't think Troy. Nebraska's been good. They started really, really hot. Kind of fell off once they hit tournament play. But still a solid team getting that 4 seed. So I think Nebraska has enough to get past Troy. What say you?
yeah, yeah, I agree. I think their record's a little bit fugazi. Obviously, started off really strong. Like you said, faltered in tournament play, but still a good team. Still got enough to get past Troy.
Perfect. All right. North Carolina versus VCU. VCU has been playing very well come the end of the season. I'm pretty sure they won their tournament as well. That's kind of how they got in because they were kind of like on the bubble against some of these other teams, and then they kind of stole a bid winning their tournament, end up getting in, which kind of hurt some teams like Oklahoma State who were on the bubble as the first 4 out. But playing really well. Kind of, if you sorted data, I think from the last month or two, they're one of the best teams statistically in the nation right now. And UNC is down. What's his? Uh,
Caleb Wilson.
Caleb Wilson. Obviously out for the rest of the season with a hand injury, so they were down their lottery pick. UNC is. Who you got in this one?
I got UNC by a hair. UNC,
Interesting.
yeah, UNC. I feel like they just obviously they gave Duke one of their 2 losses on the year, so they had again. I feel like the last couple years with UNC, they've just kind of been up and down. Have their highs are really high, but they also lose games they shouldn't lose to teams they shouldn't be losing to. So I got UNC by a hair, but I could also definitely see VCU pulling a nice 11-6 upset here.
Interesting. We do need another upset though. Is this one where we could kind of like
I could see it.
maybe you could see it?
Yeah,
Are we confident in maybe just taking VCU for an upset?
sure, I'm down.
Trying to get that because I think even though North Carolina played well against Duke, who is obviously the number 1 overall team in this bracket, I don't know. I
Obviously, what I
feel
said
like
doesn't give us supreme confidence in UNC, so I'm completely fine taking VCU here.
gotchas. Yeah. They also lost to Clemson, didn't they, in the ACC tournament?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna
Close
take an
game.
11.
That was a really good game, too.
It was a really good game. We're gonna take VCU though here. Just need another upset because I don't see any big time upsets coming up on the other side of the bracket. So take 11 over 6 here. Illinois, Penn, good season for Penn. Obviously, Powers had the 43, 44 points in the Ivy League championship game, but I'm not leaning. I think Illinois wins. What say you?
Yeah, Illini.
All right. Two teams I have zero knowledge really about. St. Mary's versus Texas A&M. Who we got here, Sammy? I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, not totally sure either, to be honest. I know that A&M has some foreigner who's putting up mad numbers over there. I did pick
Mm-hmm.
A&M. Nice 10-7 upset for my bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Um, St. Mary's, again, a team that lost a lot of the bigger games that they played. Kind of one of the teams that maybe their record isn't quite, um, reflective of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, one of the reasons I know a little bit about A&M is just because uh, Oklahoma State played them early on in the season. We ended up beating them, but still a really, really good squad. They play pretty quick, fast up and down the court. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I could see them winning against St. Mary's team.
Texas A&M, you got?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that as well. I think coming out, this is where I just lean conference. Like you've played tougher teams in the SEC. They were actually leading the SEC for a
That's
long
exactly what I
while.
was gonna say. Yeah.
Long while. St. Mary's lost to Santa Clara in their conference tournament, which we'll touch on. That might be another upset on the other upset just seeding wise, but some people are talking the Santa Clara Kentucky matchup is a lot closer than people think, which we'll get to. But yeah, let's go Texas A&M, another 10-7 upset. And then obviously Houston's going to beat Idaho unless you're really rooting for Idaho to beat Houston.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool, but no, I got Houston all the way.
It would be cool. All right, Florida, Clemson. I'm really high on Florida. I think you're high on Florida as well. I see
Yep.
Florida beating Clemson.
Yep.
All right, sadly, but Clemson's out in the second round. Vanderbilt, Nebraska, a little close. I'm leading Vandy again, just SEC school versus a Big Ten school.
Yep.
That's
Same
kind of what
here.
I'm going.
Again, Nebraska faltering in Big Ten play. I think they're not as good as their record makes them seem.
Yep, they get that coveted first tournament win, but I think that's as far as they get. Vanderbilt, we both agree. VCU, Illinois. I think Illinois is one of those that team that like their offense is out of this world. Like if they just decide not to miss for like 6 games, they could win a national championship. So it's all dependent on how their offense shows up. Their defense is a little non-existent, but I think they're going to be too much for VCU. What say you?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Illinois, and then Houston, Texas A&M. I'm going Houston.
Same here.
Perfect. All right, two SEC teams. Vanderbilt actually just beat Florida in the SEC tournament this past week, so this one might be a little closer than we thought. Who we got in this one? Any big surprises here,
I
Sam?
I could definitely see Vanderbilt winning this game, but I have picked Florida to go to the next round. The only reason that I have doubts about that is just because obviously the guy I really liked from last year, Tommy Hout, now leads
Mm-hmm.
them in scoring. I don't think he's necessarily a hugely reliable option just to like, if you need a bucket, with a few seconds left in the game, like he's not necessarily like a go-getter where he's just like give him the ball, he's gonna make a play and win you the game kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just last year he was more of just like the glue guy that kind of made everything tick, and he was good on defense. But with that being your main scoring, that could be a problem if you get into a game where you really need some of your bigger guys um to come through. But they still have Alex Condon.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they still have several other guys from last year. So hopefully that's enough to kind of push them through and get them to the next round. So I'll pick them.
Pick Florida. I think we go Florida too. My argument kind of falls flat because I was going to say, as Florida, gets further into the tournament, they're coming off wins. They're going to be playing with, confidence. But like at the same time, you got Vanderbilt playing with confidence as well, getting to this point as well. And they have the confidence of they've already beaten Florida. But I think Florida in a tournament like a big time tournament setting, obviously SEC is a big time tournament, but this is the biggest of them all. I think, and also national championship experience is gonna,
Yep.
that means something at the end of the day. All right, Florida over Vanderbilt. Illinois versus Houston. I'm leaning Houston.
Yep, same here.
All right, that one's pretty easy as well. I think we're both pretty high on Houston. All right, Florida versus Houston, 1 versus 2.
I got Houston. Houston going
Houston.
on to the Final Four. I think kind of a lot of what I've been saying the last couple weeks. I think Houston has they're returning. They have a great balance of like returning starters, obviously from last year's championship run, and
Yeah,
then also new guys as well. I think Kingston Flemings is a dog. He's going to be a lottery pick next year. I know he's been dealing with a little bit of an injury. I'm not entirely sure about his status, but if he's
really.
good to go, I think that they're gonna be a team that goes really really far in the tournament.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go Houston as well. One small thing, and it helps me pick Houston as well. It'll actually be a Houston home game, not in their school, but they will be playing in Houston,
I hope.
um, during this during this game if this ends up happening. So that'll be a disadvantage for Florida, but I think Houston's just the better team, better coach. And
Yeah.
they have the size to deal with Condon and Hauk and who's that other guy? Micah. Who's the other big guy that they have? He has a mustache.
Uh,
Micah, he's got kind of a
is he
different
from
name.
Florida?
Yeah, Florida. Sorry, Micah
Um,
Claw is like Clawhauser or something like that.
yeah,
Claw,
I'm blanking on his name now
I'm
too,
blanking
but
on it, but I think Houston has enough for sure. So yeah, that sets up that side of the bracket in the Final Four. Michigan versus Houston. We'll save that until we have the Final Four set on both sides. Moving over to the West. Arizona over LIU. I'm assuming we got Arizona.
also, just a quick break. We
Yeah.
do have bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Venezuela up 3-2 in the United States. So
Oh boy, bottom of the
we
ninth.
we pulled it back. Bryce Harper 2-run homer in the bottom of the eighth, and then they
Hey
scored a
yo.
run in the top of the ninth, dude.
Ah, dude. I hope we pull this off, man.
Yeah, I mean
Who
we
saw
we
Venezuela winning this thing? Like
I got some
I didn't.
dogs. I mean,
Like I could have seen like the DR and especially like Japan.
yeah.
Didn't
I
really
mean,
know Italy had dudes, but I could see that. All those New Jersey Italians
yeah.
playing baseball, but
I mean, Venezuela's got Acuna and Machado and a couple of those guys. So,
that's true. That's true.
uh,
Ooh, tight
anyways,
one. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure Sam will keep an eye on that as we keep going.
yeah.
All right, we got Arizona over LIU. All right,
Yep.
toss up game. First toss up game on the other side. Villanova versus Utah State. I'm leaning Utah State just because I am not high on Villanova or the Big East at all as a whole. It was really, really
Interesting.
top heavy with UConn and St. John's, so I'm going to go Utah State out of the Mountain West.
Yeah, I really didn't know much about either one of these teams. Obviously, I recognize Tyler Perkins' name in Villanova. That's why I picked them, but I'm completely fine going with Utah State team.
All right, perfect. Wisconsin, one of the hottest teams in all of college basketball
Yep.
up until this point, playing High Point, who's actually a really, really good team as well. They actually spent quite a bit of money on their squad. They have some guys from last season who made the tournament. So some people see this upset, but I think Wisconsin's just playing really, really good. So I'm leaning Wisconsin. What say you?
Yeah, on Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Sorry, High Point. Sorry. See you.
Venezuela has completed
No
the
way.
WBC championship.
Oh, ah! The 50% in me
Breaking
should be
news.
breaking news. The WBC is final. Dang, dude. Venezuela beat freaking
Beat the
uh
Avengers, huh?
they beat the Avengers, man. That's crazy. That Harper home run though, dude. I wish I was watching that. That would have been hyped.
Yeah, that was
Holy
pretty
crap.
lit.
Dang. Man, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
I guess.
All right. Rub some dirt on it and we move on. What how many years is it in between these? Is it 2 or is
I
it
think
4
it's.
years?
I'm pretty sure it's 2.
Just 2?
There's no way it's 4 because I feel like the Otani Trout thing was like yesterday, so I think it's 2.
Man, these are the times I wish I sports bet because I would have been the idiot that put like $20 on Venezuela. They had to be like one of the like underdogs, right? Like
I
that
think.
would
I
have
mean, they
cashed
have
out for
some
a
good players. I
little
think they were
change.
supposed to get to the next round
But
at
definitely
least,
not
but
favorites. Like their odds to
no.
win definitely would have been low. So like putting a
Yeah,
wager on that would have cashed
they were
out
probably
pretty
the.
good, I feel
I
like.
would. I would guess like the probably the fifth or sixth favorited team
Crazy.
at best.
Man, hey, good for them. Beating this team, that says a lot. Good for them.
For sure.
Good for Venezuela. Good year for Venezuela. But moving on. Moving on. All right. Arkansas, Hawaii. Who we got here? I got Arkansas because Akov is just playing out of his mind right now. Honestly, could be the number one pick in the draft if if that's what fits the team that's picking first.
Exactly. He came on it. I mean, obviously he's been playing well all year, but he was kind of the main reason that Arkansas going so far. And obviously they got a really, really good coach in Calipari over there. Obviously, if he can make it happen at Arkansas, he can make it happen wherever. So
the only coach to win the SEC in 2 places, so definitely a big time coach. We got Arkansas. All right, BYU plays the winner of the game going on right now. Do we have a score on that? Texas versus NC State. Who's winning that? Texas was winning when I turned it off at the beginning of the podcast, but I don't know.
See, 33-34, NC State.
Really close. Oh, shoot. But I think BYU beats both of these teams.
That's a low-scoring game. They're in the second
It is a really
half.
low-scoring game, dude. It was really clunky when I was watching it. I was like, this looks like a first four game, but these are
literally
first
thought
four
it was
teams.
behind. The score was so low. I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. But I think BYU with Debanza beats either team that makes it out of this game.
BYU's trash. I'm just kidding. Yeah, BYU only.
BYU? All right, cool.
NC State, if they can recapture a little magic, you know.
Dude, I was watching a YouTube video on them today, and I was like, dude, what a run. What an absolute run with DJ Burns and all them. Right. Oh, my goodness. All right. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. Who we got?
All right, Gonzaga in this one. I'm a perennial Gonzaga hater just because of their conference that they play in, but they're finally getting out of it. Finally be a little bit of a better conference. But yeah, I think Kennesaw State doesn't really have much of a chance against Gonzaga.
That new Pac-12 is not gonna be anything to mess with. They got a couple, not a couple. They got more than a couple decent, especially basketball schools in there, so definitely going to be a step up for Gonzaga, but they're good all year.
And to Gonzaga's credit as well, like whenever they went out of conference and played some of the other teams, like I think they played I want to say Alabama and either Oklahoma or Texas, they beat both of them. Played Kentucky, beat them by like 40 points or something crazy. So it's not just a conference thing, so I'll give them the credit where it's due.
I mean,
they've always been a wagon. Let's be honest, like 20 years or something. So.
Yeah, it's like 26 years in a row they're in the tournament. Again,
and they're always a high seed. So.
They're always a high seed, and they're one of those teams. Like even though they play in the WCC, like you were just saying, they're a good team because they're a good team, not because they're in a weak conference. It might boost their numbers a little bit, but I mean they're literally always in the Sweet 16 as well. Like, mark them down for that. But anyways, Miami, Florida versus Missouri. Miami doing a lot better this year after hiring their new coach. Not totally sure who I'm going to pick here. Probably going to lean conference. But I don't know if you have an opinion on this one or not.
Yeah, no, I like Miami in this one. Haven't really seen much of either of these teams, to be honest. But I know Missouri's kind of playing at home. I think they're playing in St. Louis, so a little bit of a crowd bump there. But Miami, I think will take care of business.
All right, Miami. Purdue versus Queens. Good for Queens making the tournament for the first time, but Purdue's been playing hot. Just won the Big Ten this past week, so we got Purdue.
Yeah, I got Purdue. I was at Jared's house the other day watching a little bit of Purdue in the Big Ten tourney. We were just surprised at how many of the guys, I feel like they've been there for like 8 years, that are still balling, dude. Like Lawyer and Smith and all those guys. Like, I feel like they played when Edey was still there, and Edey's been in the league like 2 or 3 years. So.
Yeah, Ed Edey was one of those COVID kids that played 6 years as well.
Dude.
So holy cow.
They got experience over there for sure.
Yeah, but Smith 2 assists away from breaking Hurley's record for all-time assists in NCAA basketball. So
really,
he'll definitely
holds that record. That's random.
His brother, not Dan, Bob Hurley. I'm pretty sure
Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Over
played
at
at Duke.
Arizona State. Just got fired, by the way. I saw that.
So it's the
Anyways.
other brother, so not Bob Hurley. It's the one that played at Duke.
No, I know.
Not
His
Dan.
name is also Bobby, isn't it?
I can't remember. I know it's his brother. I can't remember his first name.
Yeah.
I
Bobby
don't.
Hurley. 54 years old.
Is he
Arizona
the one
State.
that? Oh, so he is the one that coaches at Arizona State, or
Yeah.
just got fired at Arizona State.
Yeah.
But anyways, we digress. Purdue over Queens. Michigan over Howard.
Yeah, Michigan.
All right, Georgia versus St. Louis. I'm gonna go St. Louis just for uh the not I don't want to say the memes, but for the culture. Ovula.
The culture? What
Yeah.
culture?
White chocolate, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Is it what's his first name? It's his last name's Ovula, but it's
Robbie. Yeah,
Robbie
glasses boy.
Yeah, man. Should have been in the tournament a couple years or last year or whenever when the Indiana State
Yeah.
Sycamores should have been in, but we're one of the first four out. But I'm gonna go St. Louis. They can score the basketball. Haven't heard much about Georgia. Obviously, they're an 8th seed, but I think St. Louis is a decent team, decent mid-major, and obviously would love to see some Robbie ball go deep into the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely would love. Obviously, they have all the components of a nice little Cinderella run with Robbie leading the ship, but I have picked Georgia for the one reason that I did see their game against Alabama a couple weeks ago. Really, really good back and forth game. I saw Jeremiah Wilkinson kind of go off in that game, so I really like what I see from them. But I'm completely fine picking St. Louis and Robbie Avila.
Georgia has some guys though. They got Channing Catchings. He played at BYU and he was like a really, really good freshman for BYU. Super lengthy, can shoot the 3 ball, and he's not even their best player. So this one's tough. What do you said you picked Georgia though?
I did.
I love me some Robbie, but the more I think about it,
change now.
Well, I'm a I lean conferences. Like the SEC has the most teams in the field. They're one of the best conferences, and then you got St. Louis coming out. Is it A10? Is that what they play in? I think St. Louis comes out of the A10. Like, when it's a toss up, I lean who's been more battle tested and plays in the better league. Not saying they're the better team, but like, I don't know, just means that you're more fitted to play better teams. I don't know. That's just in my mind. I'll go Georgia. I've talked myself into it. I would love to see Robbie win, but I don't know. Toss-up game. Gonna go conference there. All right, Texas Tech without Toppin versus Akron. Akron obviously winning. What'd they win? They won the. They were in with Miami, Ohio, right? Is it the WAC or something like that?
Yes, Miami, Ohio. Yep, Bowling Green. That's mid. Oh, man,
Is it American something, right?
No.
This shows how much I care about mid-major basketball. While Sammy looks that up, I think what are we going here? Texas
Mid-American,
Tech.
You're right. Oh, it is the MAC. How did I forget that? The MACtion.
Let's go. Maybe I know more than I think. I always just second guess myself because when it comes to remembering stuff, not me. I'm gonna
when you
lean
said
on
the full
Sam.
name as Mid-American, it just didn't sound right, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's the MAC.
Gotchas, the MAC. Texas Tech down topping, but they've been. I can't say they've been winning. They lost the last 3 coming into the tournament. So, who we got here?
Yeah, probably I still pick Tech.
Tech, yeah. I mean, Big 12.
So Toppin's not going to play. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
That's right.
That's a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
right.
2 weeks
ago.
About that.
So I blanked.
Yeah, but they still got enough to get over Akron.
So.
Alabama over Hofstra. I would pick Alabama super quickly, but the hesitation is, did you see the stuff going down with Holloway today?
Yeah, he ain't going to be playing anytime soon for them boys.
Dude, there's no way they let him. It's like a felony. He had possession of marijuana, like a pound of marijuana.
He had 2.1 pounds, I think. Or something crazy.
The dude was loaded, and apparently it was like apparently he said it or they figured out that like it wasn't for him, but that means he was dealing, and so it's like, I mean, sure, it's 2026 and like it's legal literally.
He's their
most everywhere, but like it's still a felony, like Class C felony or something like that. There's no way he plays, right?
No. Yeah, second leading scorer, that's going to hurt them a lot. And
Yeah,
I know
man.
that Hofstra has Cruz Davis, who's averaging like 22 points a game, 21, 22 points a game. So
We going
I don't
upset
know,
here? We
man.
going upset?
I'm not going upset. I think
No,
Alabama still has enough
still
in
has enough.
Phylon to get him over Hofstra, but I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's Frisky.
it is Frisky. Like, I mean, if Holloway plays, like, yeah, Alabama all day, but like that small little bit, I don't know. They made a deep run with Brandon Miller, and he literally basically had a felony. So yeah,
Literally.
we'll go Alabama over Hofstra. We'll see if Holloway plays or not. But all right, Tennessee versus
Alabama basketball is like Georgia football. They got all the felonies and DUIs and
everything going down.
speeding
Yeah,
and
and then they still play because
yeah, exactly.
it's that SEC money, that deep South money, brother.
I guess.
I mean, they're tapped in over there. We're not gonna say what they're tapped into, but all right, Tennessee versus either Miami, Ohio or SMU. I hope Miami, Ohio wins tomorrow night. But who we got here?
Yeah, I got Tennessee. I think they're the better team, better coach.
They got that
Um,
Ames kid, right?
I
Is that his
believe
name?
so.
Ames?
Yeah, I think that's his name. But yeah, I just like Rick Barnes and what he's got going on over in Tennessee. Obviously, super tournament test over the last several years. Rick Barnes has been there forever. I don't think Rick Barnes gets the credit that he deserves as kind of one of those upper echelon coaches, but he's been around a
Facts.
long time and he's made some deep
Facts.
runs. So
Definitely.
I'll give the edge to Tennessee with the coaches, despite whatever happened. I think if Miami Ohio gets like Miami Ohio, obviously 31-0, whatever, impressive, but I feel like they might be in their heads a little bit now with their
Yeah.
loss in the tournament. Like, I don't know, we'll see. They might fall flat against SMU too, and that'll prove all the haters right. So we'll
Yeah, I
see.
hope that doesn't happen. As long as they get out of the first four, I'll be happy. Like no one's expecting them to really beat like a Tennessee, but if they lose to SMU, it's gonna be like, all right, probably shouldn't have been in, but
Yeah,
unfortunate. All right, Virginia versus Wright State. I got Virginia. I think Virginia is better than people think.
yeah, Virginia.
All right, all right. Here we go. This is the true not so upset that we could pick Santa Clara versus Kentucky. I'm not high on Kentucky at all. I think they've had a horrible season. If Chandler doesn't go nuclear from 3, they don't really win games. They're kind of weak on the inside, don't really have any true interior size. Santa Clara is playing really good. They beat Gonzaga, St. Mary's in their conference tournament, which was kind of somewhat of a shock because St. Mary's was ranked in one of those at-large teams coming out of the WCC. They lost to Gonzaga in their tournament championship, but pushed them. So I think Santa Clara is better than people think. I'm actually going to take I'm thinking Santa Clara over Kentucky just because on this side we need some more upsets. But I'm really not high on Kentucky unless their only 3-point shooter goes nuclear on the day. So what do you think?
Yeah, I actually picked Santa Clara in this one.
Perfect.
Needed some more 10v7 upset here. Obviously, I like everything about Santa Clara with what you just said. In Kentucky, dude, like, I kind of agree with you. They haven't really had a great season. Lost to Florida all 3 times that they played them, which is kind of the standard in the SEC. Lost
Mm-hmm.
several other games that they weren't really supposed to lose, and they've kind of had a track record the last several years of losing in the first, even the second round of the NCAA tournament as of late. So I think that that might continue here if they're not careful. So this was definitely a toss up for me, but ultimately I went with Santa Clara.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. And then Iowa State, Tennessee State, Iowa State all day, right?
Yes,
All right.
unfortunately.
Perfect. I just did opposite of what we did on the last side, but that's all right. All right, all the way back all the way back to the top. Arizona State, Utah State, not Arizona State, sorry. Arizona versus Utah State. Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of a toss up here. Wisconsin versus Arkansas. Who we got here? I'm going probably Arkansas just because I think they got an out of this world player that can drop 40 at a drop of a hat if they need him to. And I think that will win the day on this game. But what do you think?
Yeah, Arkansas, obviously, what I've said about them so far, insane scoring, great coaching. I think they'll
Yeah.
also be the beneficiary of getting hot at the right time. Obviously, they were right
Mm.
there with Vanderbilt in the championship in the SEC, which, like, out of all the teams in the SEC that you've got going on, I mean, Vandy and Arkansas, it's wild. So I think
Mm-hmm.
they'll continue their hot streak here and win against Wisconsin. Good Wisconsin team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you make a great point. Better coach for sure in this matchup. So
Mm.
Arkansas moves on. BYU Gonzaga. I think this would be a close one. A rematch of former WCC opponents. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, I actually picked BYU. I
Yeah.
think if DeBance is able to play to his full potential, which he hasn't consistently at times this season, they'll be able to knock off Gonzaga.
Yeah, obviously Debansa leading the nation in scoring. Another thing we didn't touch on though, because we didn't I mean, Gonzaga is going to beat Kennesaw State, but Gonzaga has a one of their key players, Huff, has been
Yep,
injured for like the last 8 weeks. And
yep,
so he's kind of
I did see
slated to
that.
return, but he has not been in action for a long time. So like jumping back into even the first game of the tournament, if he can come back and kind of get his feet under him, we'll see. But I got
And
BYU as well. I think they just play in the better conference again, leading conference. I think DeBance is going to kind of go scorched earth a little bit until they run into a team that they can't beat just with him. But I think they can beat Gonzaga with him going nuclear.
yeah, I think BYU. They also have a great second option, and Rob Wright,
Yeah.
who he'd be on, maybe averaging 20 plus points a game on either another team or maybe on a BYU team that doesn't have a literal lottery pick as their best player. So I think he provides, great depth for them as well. So
Yeah, for sure. All right, Miami, Florida, Purdue. I'm gonna probably go Purdue. I think they're getting hot.
got
Miami's
Purdue
had a
as
good
well.
season, but yeah, we're both gonna go Purdue. Kind of enough said there. Michigan, Georgia. I got Michigan just based on their body of work. Georgia's good, but not as good as Michigan.
Michigan for me as well.
All right. All right. This one's a bunch of unknowns. Texas Tech, Alabama. I'm probably gonna go Texas Tech, even if Holloway's there. I think they have the better team. Alabama's been a bit inconsistent in the SEC. And if they're not hitting threes, kind of like every year, they're just not getting it done. I got Texas Tech. Any complaints?
Nope, we got Texas Tech as well.
Perfect. All right, Tennessee, Virginia. Again, this is where I would say the SEC is better, but I think Virginia, they pushed Duke in the ACC championship game kind of down to the wire. I think Virginia's good and hitting a good stride. I'm going to take the Vols. Not Vols, sorry. They're the Cavaliers. The Vols, Tennessee. My bad. I'm going to take Virginia.
I actually picked Tennessee in this one.
Interesting.
Not necessarily because of any kind of educated guess. I kind of needed a little bit of a lower seed going a little bit farther in the tournament. Didn't really have that. So I haven't seen much of Virginia this year, if I'm totally honest. But yeah, I could see that one going either way as well, with Virginia being good again, really for the first time since not Jay Wright. What is their coach's name?
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett left a few
Did
years
I
ago.
just know a name and you blanked on one? That's like the
Seems
first
like it.
time in podcast history, 100 episodes in, and it finally happened.
It would be
Jeepers.
on college basketball too.
That's true. I want to say a lot more, but I do track it a bit deeper into the
Oh, way
season
more
than you
than
do.
me. Oh,
So
for sure.
I don't know, man. You know what? I think I can hop on with Tennessee because again,
I love how you lay out this like great reason why you think like a certain thing. I'm just
I'm
like, yeah, I
wishy-washy,
don't
man.
know, like whatever. I'm just kind of
wishy-washy.
throwing on it, whatever. And then you're like, you know what? You convinced me. I'm switching.
Sam breathes, and I'm just like, yep, Tennessee all the way. You're very
So true.
persuasive, Sam, and I'm also very,
Apparently.
very, very passive and
Very agreeable.
very submissive. Like I fall in line. All
right, sounds like we're going Tennessee next.
Yep, SEC team. Take the SEC team. Iowa State over Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Really? Hesitation?
Yeah, I always doubt Iowa State because they
You
always let
do. You
everyone
are
down.
a known
Because
Iowa State
because they
doubter.
always let everybody down every
Not this
year.
year though, bro. It
I'm
took
fine with going Iowa
Arizona
State.
and Bradley hitting a buzzer beater in that Big 12 championship game to beat them. So,
Fair.
or not championship game, but in that the tournament game. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm fine with going Iowa
All
State.
right, I knew you'd see it my way.
Right.
Just kidding. All right, this is when the games get really, really good. Arizona versus Arkansas. I think Arizona's a buzzsaw. They've been probably obviously one of the best teams, but in my mind, the best team, even though the seeding doesn't show it. I think Arizona is either level with Duke or right under Duke, in my opinion. But I think Arizona gets past Arkansas in this one.
I actually picked Arkansas to go
You picked
go past
Arkansas.
Arizona, but I'm fine with going with Arizona.
You're fine with Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Arizona has the better team. Arkansas has the better player, but, is a team sport, even though basketball can be won by one player. But, yeah, I think we'll go Arizona there. BYU, Purdue. This is another toss-up. I think Purdue's playing the best. This is where my faith in BYU and Debansa goes down. Give me Purdue.
Yeah, I got Purdue as well.
Purdue as well. All right. Good for Purdue. They had a crummy season, but a lot of people have them going pretty deep.
Somehow snuck in as a 2 seed.
Yeah, that Big Ten championship game really helped them. Michigan, Texas Tech. I think missing Toppin against Michigan makes this not as much of a game. It will probably still be close, but I think Michigan wins it.
Yep. I got Michigan as well.
Perfect.
Landeborg.
He's really good, dude. He was hitting big time
him.
shots in that Big Ten tournament. Like,
yeah,
he had the 3 at the end of the game against Wisconsin. Wisconsin pushed them.
Always popping up when they needed him.
Yeah, sure. That's a big time player for sure. Tennessee, Iowa State. I feel like we're both going to disagree on this one. Who you got?
I have Tennessee going to the next round.
You got
Shocker,
Tennessee,
but I got Tennessee, man, in the Elite Eight.
Do you? Oh man, really? Why? Just because you hate Iowa State?
I mean, I do hate Iowa State, but
yeah, it's known.
I just think Jacoby Gillespie is gonna go off. I think he's been playing pretty well as of late. I think they got a good supporting cast, and I forget his last name. It's like Nate Ament, something
that
like
sounds
that.
Right.
They both average more than 15 points a game, so I feel like their tandem is just they're built to go far. So
I really like Iowa State though. They've played in the Big 12, a better conference.
I will say, dude, their foreign dude, Momchilovich or whatever.
Oh, can go.
He was
absolutely
torching
nuclear,
my
dude.
Cowboys, dude. Like
yeah.
he
had 8 threes in the game against Arizona.
Yeah, he just doesn't even look like a basketball player. I'm like, what is going on?
They got experience. They got an experienced head coach as well. Not saying Tennessee doesn't. They probably have one of the most experience, but
for sure,
I feel like their team's more well-rounded. Tennessee, though, man. All right, we'll go Tennessee. What the heck? Oh, look at this. Let's look at some stats here. Wow, a lot of red going on here, Sammy boy. Efficiency.
You should know, March isn't about the stats.
It's not. We'll go Tennessee
Mr.
for the
college basketball
Tennessee
fanatic.
for the culture. Tennessee for the culture, I guess. All right, Arizona, Purdue, 1-2. Who we got here?
I obviously I had Arkansas beating them, but if Arizona did get past them, I'd have Arizona.
I agree with that as well. Michigan versus Tennessee. You got Tennessee, don't you?
No, I got Michigan.
You got
Tennessee.
Michigan? All right. Yeah. A little sense in you. All right. That's good. I got Michigan as well. Which leaves us with the final 4 of Michigan State versus Houston and Arizona versus Michigan. All right. Michigan State versus Houston. Obviously 2 very, very good head coaches on there. Is Izzo in the Hall of Fame already or not yet?
I have no idea, but
I know Sampson's not yet because
I think Izzo is. I think he is.
He's got to be. If Self's already in there, Izzo's got to be.
It is
Well,
weird because they don't wait until they retire to put him in. I think
no, they don't. Which
yeah,
is
he got inducted
interesting.
in 2016, so he's been in a while.
Gotchas. Well, 2 Hall of Fame level coaches, obviously, in Izzo and Sampson. Who you got in this game, Michigan State or Houston?
Houston. I got Houston, man. Going to the championship again.
I agree. I think we both agree on Houston. Why they'll make it back to the final is because their experience. Like, most of the team that made it last year is returning. You got Tugler, Sharp, Uzan, then adding somebody like Flemings and also Sinak, 2 freshmen that will give you. I mean, Fleming's their number one option when it comes to offense. So,
Exactly.
they literally add that to a team that went to the final and literally was a shot away from winning it. Like, yeah, Houston all day. Arizona versus Michigan, 2 number 1 seeds, the only 2 number 1 seeds in the Final Four.
I got Michigan in the championship
Michigan
against Houston.
I'm not high on Michigan, man. I am not high on them.
I wasn't either until like I did a little
Purdue beat
research
them.
on that. Doesn't matter. Purdue's 2 seed.
Purdue took them out back and said, bye.
Okay,
Don't want to get canceled.
Like
Can't said.
They did beat Purdue
bad.
earlier in the year, so
yeah. But I also think that losing their backup point guard is really, really going to hurt them.
I mean, I agree, but again, they've lost 2 games all year, and one of them was to Duke. Like, I think they're ready made.
You think
I think any of the 1 seeds can win the championship.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's why they're a 1 seed, but...
obviously. But
Michigan.
I don't think that there's a clear 1 seed that's they're going to be exposed.
All right, I'll go Michigan just based on the fact that I would want Houston to play Michigan instead of Arizona because I think it gives Houston the best chance. They can still beat Arizona, but I think it gives them the best chance playing a team that's out of their conference and they haven't played, haven't seen all year.
So is your bracket all 1 seeds in the Final Four?
I haven't filled out a bracket yet.
Oh,
this is the first time I filled out any bracket. I looked at it.
I thought all these picks were going off of what you had in your personal.
No, this was you and I, bro. This was us. I definitely don't have Tennessee beating Iowa State. That'll be different in my bracket. Or yeah,
we'll see come tournament time.
We'll see. But
watch
here
Tennessee
we go.
lose to Miami of Ohio in the first round.
I would love that. And just like I said, I don't have Duke losing to Siena, but if they happen to do that, Syracuse and Siena will rejoice because it means McNamara's coming home.
You guys just assume that you're gonna come with an offer and McNamara's gonna come back.
Dude,
I don't know, man.
Dude, he's ours, man. He's ours. I think I'm just saying
Albany might be treating him pretty well over there. You never know.
I'm just saying it just has to be him because if it's not him, I don't know.
You don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. And I mean, if Siena beats freaking Duke, it better be McNamara. I don't care. If whoever beats Duke, we need to just pick that person up because I mean,
let's be honest, it's gonna be Duke by 30. So
it's like the NFL. You have to create your team, your roster, your coaching towards beating the teams in your division. You have to create your team, your coaching in college basketball to beat the teams in your conference. And Duke is the top of our conference. So whoever beats Duke, especially if you can beat him with Siena, frick it, man. McNamara doesn't even go to the second round. We just throw him an offer and say, you're coming to Syracuse now, buddy. But anyways, all jokes aside, Houston or Michigan, Sammy?
You also, not to just throw gasoline on the Syracuse fire, but you guys are also a friggin' 14 seed in the ACC tournament.
Yeah. We lost to freaking SMU, who's playing Miami, Ohio tomorrow night to get into the stupid thing.
Yeah, rough.
I hate my life. That's why we need McNamara to be the only silver lining ray of sunshine in our lives as a Syracuse fan. All right, Sammy,
I want
boy.
Syracuse to be good.
Dude,
good vibes when they're good.
Need it. All right. Houston or Michigan, Sammy, for the championship?
I mean, I think everybody knows who I'm going to go with. So
I think we both agree. Houston.
Houston all the way, baby. Frick
Houston and
Michigan.
Sampson finally gets his national championship, solidifying his Hall of Fame career. Yeah, frick Michigan. Tiebreaker, winner, loser. I don't even know. What you got, Sammy?
70 to 65.
70 to 65. Why is it not typing? There we go. 70 to 65.
I always put some kind of like between 65 and 75.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is gonna do it for our bracket. Obviously, some picks we didn't agree on. Most of the picks we did, because that's just the nature of our podcast. We're in lockstep literally all the time, right, Sam?
More often than not. That is for sure.
Not. I definitely will have some changes in my personal bracket, but it's pretty close to what I got.
Same.
I mean,
I feel like now with NIL, there's so many fewer like upsets, unfortunately, than there used to be. Like everybody talks about the 10-7s and the 11-6s and all that, but like I feel like those are going to be less and less of a thing until
like true Cinderellas are dead. Dark horses aren't. Like you could see like a TCU or Ohio State getting really hot and like making a run, but that's not a true Cinderella. Like coming out of a Power 4 conference and a team that's already playing well with like top talent, like like an
I think
Arkansas,
a true Cinderella has to at least be a double-digit seed, and not be in a Power 4 conference.
Yes. Does that mean? I guess it's the argument. A few seasons ago with NC State, people were saying they weren't a true Cinderella just based on them being in a Power 4. But I mean, just the nature of how they did it
too. Like, weren't they like a 11 seed? Like they were.
Because they won their
lower
tournament
seed
to get
still.
in. Yeah. I'm sure there's some contingency on that. People will debate that left and right, but I feel like the days of seeing like an Idaho beat a Houston to make it into the Elite Eight is kind of over. Could be wrong. There's always surprises around the corner come Thursday, but
there'll be one or two for sure.
But that's our bracket.
Maybe not this year, but
maybe not this year, but that's our bracket. We got Houston beating Michigan in the national championship. Hope everybody enjoys the tournament starting this weekend. I know we will. Maybe possibly going to a game. There's some cheap tickets on that Thursday at noon though, so we'd have to take work off, but that'd be kind of sweet. I've never been to one, so this would probably be the best chance, but again, hope everybody enjoys it. We will finish the pod kind of with a quick segment with a bunch of stuff around the world of sports coming up right after this.
Alrighty, talking a little NFL ball before we get out of here, and also hopping over the pond in the same segment just to kind of condense everything and make everything look good, or sound good, I should say. Talking NFL free agency first and foremost, a couple other big time moves going down. Not quite as big as what we had last week, but still pretty big to talk about. First one being Waddle signing with the Broncos in a big time trade from the Dolphins to the Broncos. Broncos finally make their first move of the free agency period, whether it be a signing or a trade. Kind of a little bit of a surprise there with them not doing anything after they went all the way to the AFC Championship last year. But signing Waddle from the Miami Dolphins for a first rounder, as well as a third and a fourth rounder. So pretty hefty price tag on Mr. Waddle there. They also get a fourth round pick from the Dolphins as well. But big news as Waddle finding a new home. I'm assuming going to be a wide receiver 1 for the Broncos as well. What say you, Mr. Stallone, about this bigger move going down for the Broncos, getting a big time target for Bo Nix?
Yeah, I feel like they're going all in. Definitely with how many more years does Nix have on his rookie deal? It's got to be like 1 or 2.
I think yes.
Yeah, it's no more than 2. So definitely they're seeing the window close and seeing how close they got last season. Just in heartbreaking fact, like they would have been in the Super. In my opinion, this is not even Patriots hate. they would have been in the Super Bowl if they had Bo Nix. Like, just the way that game went, not being able to move the ball. I mean, Stidham had that one down the field touchdown that really like boosted his stats a little bit. But other than that, he played like a backup, unfortunately. I think with Nix, it definitely opens up the offense a lot more. And then with Waddle now, dude, like the
Track star.
Dude, absolute track star. Take the top off the defense. I was about to say because why am I blanking on the Broncos coach's name?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. Holy crap. It's getting late here, guys. Sorry. Sorry for that. Sean Payton, I was going to say the stuff that he can dial up. He'll still be able to dial up, but he's actually relinquishing calling plays this coming season. So a little different look from the Broncos coming this next season. But this definitely, you can't even say puts them over the top because I mean, they should have been in the Super Bowl. I don't know if they would have won it. They definitely probably would have been a much better test to Seattle than the Patriots were. But definitely with Waddle makes them way, way more formidable, not only in their division, but to kind of win the whole conference as a whole and go to the Super Bowl and maybe even win the whole thing at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe the Broncos play caller won't be going for it at the 15-yard line when they need points in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
for real.
Yeah, I think this is a good move for the Broncos. Pretty expensive. I thought that was a pretty hefty price tag on Jalen Waddle, who's kind of been in and out of the lineup as far as injuries go and everything. But big time upside, I think, with this move as well, giving Bo Nix a clear number one. Obviously, he's had a good wide receiving core with some of the guys kind of, bursting onto the scene and everything, but I think this gives him a clear one and a good target to throw to for sure. So not really sure what the Dolphins are doing. Obviously they're going for a clean reset, which is what they should be doing, but I'm a little bit confused as to why they were in the market for a Malik Willis at such a high price, obviously like 3 years, $60 million or something crazy. So a little bit of a confusing move there, unless they have more moves that we're obviously not privy to yet. But I do feel bad a little bit for Malik if he kind of signed with at least some of the weapons still there. Obviously, Tyreek's now a free agent, so they're going completely clean slate. But Malik got his money. So, but I think in a couple of years, because of the lack of weapons for Miami, maybe they'll rebuild through the draft. But they'll probably discard Malik as being not very good when he doesn't really have a great team around him. But we'll see what the Dolphins do for sure. I know that they have a ton of dead cap room, paying a whole bunch of players who aren't even on the roster anymore. Hill and Waddle and Bradley Chubb are just some of the names that have left just this season. So
Tua's super expensive.
Tua, exactly, yeah. Millions, tens of millions of dead cap money there. I'm blanking on the exact number right now, but
it was close to 100 mil, wasn't it?
It was like 90 something million, dude. It was insane, which is like you're paying that and homeboy doesn't even play for you, which obviously what dead money means. But like
now he's in Atlanta, bro.
So
crazy.
Wild, dude.
Yeah.
But,
definitely the Dolphins are definitely rebuilding. Like, I mean, getting the first, third, and fourth this year from the Broncos. Definitely going to be able to reload with that. Clean slate, totally there. And probably having to getting rid of Waddle was just definitely a bookkeeping thing, just with having to pay Tua so much. They got to free up as much cap space as they can to be able to maybe even go into free agency and get a little bit more, but definitely probably going to rebuild through the draft.
Yeah, I would assume so. Again, a little bit confusing signing Malik Willis, just because like if you're gonna go full rebuild like that, I would just start Quinn Ewers and just kind of embrace the suck kind of thing. But at least they're realizing it a little bit earlier than some teams do. Like a lot of people will let players like Waddle and Hill just kind of rot on the roster till they're old and have no value. So good on them for kind of trading early and getting some draft picks and hopefully rebuilding through the draft. So. Moving on to another guy that we were just talking about, Malik Willis maybe being discarded in a couple years, not having a great team despite having the talent. Justin Fields, I believe, is might be in this category as well. He just got a big time move to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs trading a 2027 sixth round pick for Justin Fields, which is great value for Justin Fields, if you ask me. I mean, that's not even this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a late round pick. So, I think this is a great move for both teams. I think Fields finally gets to play with a decent team. I've been on this podcast several times before, just saying that I think he deserves a good chance on a solid team, and obviously the Chiefs will provide this for him if he gets any playing time. Obviously, a lot of people think that Mahomes won't necessarily be ready to go first couple weeks. Personally, I think he's probably going to be ready to go, but he doesn't have to be now with Fields on the roster. Fields gives them a ton of opportunities, and obviously Andy Reid loves the gadget plays to
Mm-hmm.
just kind of open up the playbook. Obviously, he can run like basically no other quarterback in the NFL really can. Maybe short yardage stuff. Still's got a pretty good arm as well, so kind of a Swiss Army knife back there for sure. So even if Pat is ready to go, like just having a guy like Fields that's a little bit more provides them a little bit more flexibility, I think is going to be great for the Chiefs and great for Justin Fields as well, having finally a competent not just team but coaching staff as well.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for sure. I think I texted you today when it went down. You texted me and was like, Fields to the Chiefs. And in my opinion, if it doesn't work out here, might be a wraps on his career. Because
Yeah,
I
or he
mean,
might turn into Taysom Hill. You never know.
you never know. You never know. It all depends on kind of what he wants to do. But this is the first real like organization that kind of has their or does have their head on straight when it comes to, coaching, winning, having players that have been there and done that, just winning mentality. Because you go from Chicago and that mess that was there, kind of give them a pass there. Then you
Pre
find
Ben
yourself
Jones Chicago.
exactly pre
Not Jones,
Johnson,
Johnson.
yeah,
Yes.
Ben Johnson. Who was it? Matt Eberflus or something like that. Like
Yeah.
we all know how that went, obviously. So yeah, was not helped at all there. Goes to the Steelers, which I love my Steelers, but when it comes to Mike Tomlin and uh, who was our offensive coordinator?
Smith.
Arthur Smith, yeah. Um,
He was 4-2 as a Steelers starter, and you still benched him for freaking
exact.
Wilson, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Don't know what's going on
Come
there.
on,
So
man.
obviously lost belief somehow. Arthur Smith is not the most not the greatest offensive mind in all of football, and definitely a defensive led team. So, again, as much as I love the Steelers, definitely not a place for a young quarterback to kind of land on his feet and get back into the good graces of the league. And then you go to where every player goes to die, especially quarterbacks, Jets, and
Yeah.
the dumpster fire that's going on there. So really, he's had a pass up to this point. If it doesn't work with the Chiefs, and again, he's going to be more in a backup role, be able to develop more under Andy Reid. The offensive coordinator they just brought back, and is it Bieniemy? They just
Mm-hmm.
brought back, and then learning under an all-time great like Patrick Mahomes definitely will help him out. So we'll see. But if it definitely doesn't work out here, I don't know. It's probably not going to work out anywhere at this point. But good for him. Kind of a good sneaky pickup by the Chiefs for sure, like you were saying.
Yeah, and the money made sense as well. Jets paying most of his. I think he's on $20 million a year, and Jets agreed to pay like 15 or 16 mil. So the Chiefs getting him for like 3 million, which is great value for a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of what you were saying, like if I was Fields, bro, like I would really try to make it work. And then I would just be like chilling, dude. Like maybe be Pat Mahomes like long term backup if the Chiefs like you and you like the Chiefs, like just kind of being done with being on these sucky teams and getting all the hate. I'd just be fine being his backup. But
Yep,
he's probably a competitor, would want to go somewhere else if he does well. But
for sure.
we shall see. Last thing we'll get into a little NFL is Kyler Murray to the Vikings. Really surprising no one on this. Once everybody kind of settled with their teams after their first day of free agency, this was kind of the no-brainer destination for Mr. Kyler Murray. A lot of people think the Vikings are just a quarterback away from being one of the best teams in the NFC. I'm not sure if I would go quite that far, but definitely elevates them to a playoff team if Kyler can put it together. I've had my doubts on Kyler, but I do think this is a good move for him, and a good move for the Vikings as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great move for the Vikings. He's proven that he's a franchise quarterback. Like The downside to him has been his maturity. Obviously, he is undersized, so he has been hurt, but pretty durable for, how big
Yeah.
he is, all things considered. Just near the end of and the Cardinals, dude, they've kind of been, a quieter dumpster fire for the last few years.
That's a great
Um,
way to put that, dude.
like like
Quiet dumpster
quiet
fire.
dumpster, like not as flat. Like the media isn't like in New York. It's just like it's focused on the Jets and the Giants, like big media market. So that's why we hear so much about them. But Cardinals have not been good for a while. Obviously fired their head coach, new head coach. So just not a great place for Kyler, but he was still like when he was healthy, he would have stretches where it's like, dude, Kyler Murray for MVP. Like he's a good quarterback. He's been in the league, so that's kind of like right up KOC's alley, like a veteran quarterback that's been there, done that. Once KOC finally got like a rookie quarterback that he had to develop into a starter, it didn't really go well. So this will light a fire under JJ McCarthy, or it'll be the answer for the Vikings, and they need some answers at the quarterback position because if they're not getting the ball to Justin Jefferson, he might be walking here in the next few years. So I think it's a great pickup, really good for both parties, Kyler and the Vikings. They got some competent quarterback play to lean on if JJ really doesn't pan out, which in my opinion, I don't think JJ's going to.
Yeah, yeah, I would tend to agree. Out of all my takes from early last season when we made that episode, I think JJ McCarthy being a bust was one of my more solid takes. Obviously the book hasn't been totally written on him yet, but definitely looking like it's going down that way. I do like the Kyler pickup for the Vikings. I do think that Kyler is definitely, like you were saying, has some problems with maturity. I do think he's turnover prone as well. I think most of the seasons where he's played either a full season or close to a full season, he's had double-digit interceptions, kind of just been a little bit inconsistent, obviously playing for a Cardinals team who hasn't been great for the most part. I think they've only been in the playoffs maybe 1 year since he's been there, so not a ton of success as far as that goes, but obviously he's going to the school of Kevin O'Connell of quarterbacks up there in Minnesota. We'll see what he's able to get out of him. I think another concern maybe just again his size. Obviously he's able to run around back there and kind of make things happen, but I do wonder how much, like, I mean, we joke about it, but like seeing over his offensive line, it can really
Yeah.
hamper his ability to play well. So I'm not sure how much that'll come into play, but yeah, they got to figure out something to get Justin Jefferson to. I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't did the typical diva wide receiver thing and, make some noise earlier than he has in his career. Obviously he's a
Right.
professional, but there's been opportunity, I guess you could say, with them not figuring it out season after season with the quarterback where he could have made some noise and won it out, but stayed loyal. And yeah, I'm not sure if they can't figure it out this season. And it looks like last season where he's frustrated with the quarterback play not getting the ball. He may try to go somewhere else, and I would like to see him somewhere else if they can't figure it out this year. But we'll see what they got with Kyler and company. So hopping over the pond for a different kind of football. We do have the Champions League going on right in the middle of of the round of 16, I should say. First 4 games going down today. Next 4 going down tomorrow. Most of the games today weren't really that close. If they weren't that close today on aggregate, they definitely weren't close. First one being Chelsea PSG. Starting with Fezzy Boys Blues over there. And Chelsea coming into the tie down 5-2 on aggregate. Some people were giving them a little bit of a chance if they score early, never know. But yeah, PSG put those hopes to bed real quick in the first 15 minutes of the game, losing 3-0 on the day. PSG just kind of putting it in neutral there and cruising.
Yeah, PSG was definitely like this is the matchup where they were like saying there's levels to this. Maybe a bit of bitterness coming back from the Club World Cup where both teams were trying to win it, so it wasn't like PSG laid over and Chelsea ended up beating them. Chelsea's one of the most frustrating teams that I root for currently. just on paper should be really good, have a lot of good young talent, just can't figure it out. Always swapping out coaches, especially when things seem to be going well. The first sign of things kind of falling apart, we jump ship and sign another manager. Um, you and I both, especially this season, have been very pessimistic fans of our squads, and this hasn't been any different. When PSG went up 5-2 on aggregate, I was like, it's done, it's dusted. There's no way we come back. And obviously they put it to rest pretty quickly. You know, on aggregate 8-2, just a poor performance from Chelsea, and you know, a well deserved win for Paris Saint Germain to move on to the next round.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, like you were saying, there's levels to the Champions League, and PSG just kind of showing them where the level is at that Chelsea have got to get to in the years to come. And obviously, this isn't in the doc, but pretty big news coming down this week about Chelsea being handed a
Yeah.
1-year transfer ban from not just the senior team, but academy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Slapped with a $14-15 million fine as well on top of that for financial breaches when Abramovich was still there. So not good news for your Blues.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not good news at all. Yeah, kind of wild that like it's from the Abramovich era. Like it's been that was
It's like
like
12 to 15 or something like that. I think the breaches were from.
yeah, it was from like a way earlier season, but I was also trying to think of when did he sell the club? It was like right after COVID, right? Or
Yeah, it was right when Ukraine invaded, or Russia invaded
so like
Ukraine, made him sell it.
2021,
Yeah, something
2021
like
or
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a good 5 years. So yeah, just add insult to injury, having that fine and ban come down. You know, just
Yeah.
not a good week for Chelsea at
Makes you
all.
wonder, man. I was talking to my buddies at work about this who are also into soccer, is like the Man City 115 charges, bro. Where are we at with that? Like they keep coming down with all these punishments for other teams. Like you've seen Everton, you've seen Crystal Palace, you've seen several other clubs with way less charges than Man City have. Finally
Break in the break in the friggin' Texas just went up with 1 second left in the game,
let's
68,
go
66.
Longhorns.
Anyways, NC State loses to Texas in the first four. Sorry for that break in the program, but yeah, back to a little soccer. That was a good game. That was a great game. All right, sets up BYU versus Texas. Debansa playing his favorite player's alma mater. Good for him.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, his favorite
Nice.
player. Yep. All right. Anyways, Champions League. Onward we
Yeah,
go.
back to the charges that we were talking about. I was just mentioning that Man City, talking to a couple guys at work today, and they were just saying it was all this stuff with Chelsea and Crystal Palace and whoever else and Everton getting docked points and fined is just a smokescreen for Man City, because Man City's charges also come from the same time period that y'all's is like 2011 to 2018 or something. So
Mm-hmm.
still waiting, man. But if this punishment for Chelsea is any indication, it's just going to be a hefty fine and just maybe a
Yeah.
transfer ban or something. But when they really deserve to probably be in the championship, but that will never
Imagine.
happen ever,
Imagine. No, they bring too much
unfortunately.
money to the Premier League.
Yeah. Moving
Pander to
on
people.
to next matchup. Speaking of Man City, Real Madrid.
Bye bye.
Man City kind of pooped the bed
See ya.
in the first leg there, not giving themselves much of a chance. They actually started the game really, really strong, but all of their momentum kind of thwarted when Bernardo Silva handled the ball allegedly with his arm in the box, trying to block a shot. Direct
Interesting.
red card after a VAR review. Vinicius puts
Direct.
the ensuing penalty away. There's 4-0 on aggregate and kind of GG's from there, honestly. But Erling Haaland putting in a goal a little bit later in the first half, but a little too late in this tie. Madrid go through 5-1 on aggregate. Vinicius scoring the 93rd as well. What say you about Madrid?
I mean, Madrid's kind of been a wagon as we've known in the Champions League for a while now. Can't bet against Madrid. Um, I didn't watch any of this game, unfortunately. I did see the red card, and I kind of assumed it was just
You saw
frustration.
Silva's handball?
No, I didn't. I did. I saw like when I turned the game on late, I saw that there was a red card, and I kind of assumed it was just like a Manchester City like frustration foul or something. But
No.
that is super unfortunate. Straight red for a handball. Like,
Yeah, I
was it
mean,
inadvertent?
so he was right on the line, like right in the corner next to the post, both hands behind the back, and he
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like put his elbow out a little bit. Letter of the law that says that you're making yourself bigger and you're like blocking it from being a goal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to say it wasn't a red because, obviously you're stopping a goal from being scored with your arm, even though your both hands are behind your back. But it's just one that I could like live with if it was just, a yellow or a penalty or something like that. But again, I agree with the call that was ultimately given, but it's just kind of one of those things that kind of ruined a good game from the start, despite the fact that I'm a Madrid fan. So obviously the red card plus penalty and goal um, kind of rendered that one over in the 20th minute. So
Yeah, that's tough. Tough way. It's not been a good Champions League for English teams so far.
no, dude.
Um Liverpool's down 1-0 to Galatasaray, Chelsea's out, Manchester City's out, Tottenham's all but out after that howler of a game last week. So
Yeah.
not a good
One English team
not
that's
a good
still in
showing.
though are my Arsenal Gunners, boy. We pulled out a 2-0 dub at home pretty comfortably against a Bayer team that just kind of looked outmatched. Honestly, finally played up to our potential against Bayer. Obviously, Eze in the starting lineup. I've been saying for a while that he needs to be in the starting lineup. He's just a creative player
Mhm.
that when given the freedom to kind of roam and do whatever he wants to do, can be a really, really good player. But Arteta's kind of against that now. He just wants the machine players in there, just kind of
Yeah.
that are tactic oriented. But Eze with a beauty of a goal in the first half. Kind of relieved a little bit of the pressure off of Arsenal, and Declan Rice putting in a second one in the 63rd to kind of relieve all tensions that were still left in that second half, and Bayer just never able to really get in our half and get big time opportunities. So very glad to see my Gunners go through with a 2-0 victory on the day and 3-1 on Ag.
Yeah, this might be your season. Obviously, there's still good teams in the Champions League, but looking good in the Premier League and moving on, like you said, like one of the only. I mean, Liverpool still has a chance, obviously, but only the best Premier League team left in the Champions League by far, for sure. Finding a way against Bayern, and I guess that's just kind of like we talk about the set pieces, we talk about the own goals and different things like that, but like that's kind of just the not the motto, but just kind of like as a whole what your season's kind of been is just finding a way, grinding out wins. In seasons past, maybe not finding those wins like you have this year, but in a sense, that's a skill as well. Like we talk about the Chiefs, like kind of put this in NFL terms, like that season where they were winning all these really close games. Like at the end of the day, it kind of turns into not just being luck, but actually being like a skill and being able
Yep.
to pull away in these games. Like, yeah, sure. Would you like to see more goals in open play? But like at the end of the day, the only stat that matters is that W in the win column. So, you guys are looking good. And who do you play after this? You have a decent draw after getting through, right?
Yeah, we play Sporting.
Sporting, yeah, that's not bad. Even though that's they look pretty good today, but not a bad draw for sure.
Yeah, yeah. We're obviously on the much, much easier side of the bracket. So,
Yeah, for
yeah, we'll be
sure.
facing Sporting next, which is a great segue into our last matchup we'll talk about.
Sadness.
Bodo Glimt, the Cinderella of the competition, coming in with a 3-0 aggregate advantage into the second leg. And unfortunately, they are not able to complete it and go through to the next round as Sporting put together a very, very impressive win. 5-0 on the day, 3-0 after regular time, pushing it to overtime, and then scoring 2 in overtime to kind of put them away.
Man.
Sporting just taking it to him, man. 36 shots, 14 on target, about 60% possession or so. So obviously a dominant performance by Sporting. This was kind of the leveling of kind of what we were kind of expecting when you see a team like Bodo Glimt in the round of 16 against a perennial powerhouse, at least in Portugal, with Sporting on the other side. So definitely kind of coming back down to earth for the Norwegian side, but still very, very impressive nonetheless. Play style is still very, very impressive, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully they'll be there again. Hopefully in years to come. Hopefully with the same squad. Hopefully they don't get picked up by some of the Prem teams and other big teams around Europe. So big
Yeah.
props to Sporting though. They're not going to be an easy out against us.
No, that's true. I was going to say, I didn't realize Sporting really had this in them. Backs against the wall, you kind of do some crazy things. 5 goals on the day is super impressive no matter who you're playing. I kind of echo the same sentiment that, like, I hope we see Bodo Glimt back in the Champions League making a deep run. I hope they kind of have like a Atalanta kind of arc type deal where, like, they had Atalanta had that really, really good deep run like a few years ago, and they've kind of been just kind of relevant, throughout. They haven't, like, been relegated, dropped down to the second division in Italy. They're kind of always there in the Champions League, maybe not making the runs that they're used to, but, like, I mean, they beat Juventus or no, who'd they play? Borussia Dortmund. They beat them kind of on a fluky kind of game, but still made it to the round of 16. So that was impressive. But I kind of hope that's kind of what happens to Bodo Glimt.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
go
it's
ahead.
super like it's way more impressive though for them just because they come from a way smaller country,
Yeah.
tiny league, dude. Like they
Mm-hmm.
have like 12 teams in there. Don't even play during the normal calendar. Like the budget is like
Oh
so
yeah.
minuscule. Like at least Atalanta play in, one of the top 5 leagues. They at least
Mm-hmm.
have the access, the money, the automatic qualification spots from the Italian league into the Champions League, whereas
That's true.
Bodo kind of has to work their way in, and obviously on a much smaller budget, much smaller everything. So
Yeah.
super impressive stuff by them. But that being said, there are 4 games tomorrow. Barca Newcastle is the early game. Then Tottenham Atletico, which is all but wrapped up.
Yeah.
Tottenham, dude, I've been watching. Obviously, everybody's kind of been on the Tottenham relegation watch with West Ham and Nottingham both tying this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They're deadlocked with 3 teams at relegation battle. So
Oh boy.
we will see about that. And then Liverpool,
Crazy.
Galatasaray. Obviously, that one's going to be a spicy one as well. And then Bayern, Atalanta, which is the team that you just mentioned. I don't give Atalanta much chance in that one being down 6-1, and they didn't even have Harry Kane playing. So
Yeah.
we shall see.
We shall see. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, Liverpool has the capability of turning that one, but I mean, 3-0 is still hefty. But, you know, Galatasaray is no Bodo Glimt, so, like, the task at hand is going to be a lot steeper than what Sporting was facing for
Yeah.
sure.
You think
Barca
Barca?
is good.
I
Oh,
was
sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, do you think Barca's gonna have some trouble in the second leg with Newcastle as well
After that first leg, definitely. Like, not. I
at
wasn't.
home?
I wasn't. I
Mm.
wasn't counting Newcastle out in the first leg, definitely, or in this tie altogether. But I definitely thought Barca was the better team, but Newcastle showed that, they're there to play. I mean, it's 0-0 basically. Anybody's game. Yeah, Barca will be playing at home, so that will definitely play in their favor. But I think Newcastle's going to be a hard out by the end of tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess we shall see.
We shall see. Um, Yeah, Bayern's kind of done and dusted. We were kind of saying Atalanta has the money, but they're still a smaller club, in Serie A, always kind of hanging around, always in those automatic qualifiers. But 6-2, I just don't see it
Six
happening.
one.
6-1.
Yeah,
Oh god. Oh, they only scored 1 goal. That's crazy. 6-1.
without Harry Kane.
Oof. All right. Lastly, before we totally head out of here, just wildness. I don't know a lot about it. I'll let Sammy kind of explain more of it. But AFCON is, so obviously they had the AFCON tournament this past, when it happened? February,
January, February,
January.
somewhere on there. Yep.
Gotchas. And obviously it went down. It was Morocco and Senegal in the final. Senegal won originally, but coming out today that final and that win by Senegal might be rescinded, and Morocco might end up winning based on just some fluky forfeit rule and different things going down, some corruption in play. Obviously, in Africa, a little you know, to be expected. But yeah, kind of explain it because I saw this on
Yeah,
Instagram, didn't totally understand it. I thought it was a joke. Turns
same.
out it's not. But
Yeah, I definitely thought this was a joke as well. I thought it was some, Twitter, trolls or whatever. But
right,
yeah, obviously when ESPN alerts you, it's kind of legit at that point. So
yeah,
but yeah, basically a little bit of context behind this. The whole tournament was kind of seemed to be slated in the favor of the host nation, Morocco. Most of the games they played, there was controversial, calls here and there. There were just whack things going on that Morocco should be penalized, but they were not. There's a whole like towel situation with like the goalkeeper's towel and the subs from Morocco trying to steal it in the final. There were some wild videos to come out of that, but whatever. Basically, what happened on the field was that Senegal felt like they um, the ref gave a penalty for Morocco, and the Senegal players felt like it was so abhorrent that they walked off the field in protest.
huh?
They were off the field for about 10-15 minutes. This was towards the end of regulation time. Eventually, they went back onto the field. Morocco ends up missing the penalty in wild turn of events. They go to extra time. Senegal end up winning 1-0 and winning the trophy. And now they're saying today with this ruling, I guess it's the African Football Federation is saying that because Senegal was off the field for more than 10 minutes, that technically is grounds for like you forfeited the game basically, even though they came back after a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that that's enough to award Morocco a 3-0 victory. Obviously, as of right now, Senegal is stripped of the AFCON title and Morocco
Dude,
is declared champion. So,
that's
I think this is
crazy.
still like pending an appeal from Senegal. I don't know if FIFA is going to get involved or what's going on with that, but absolutely wild stuff. I don't think this would be as big of a deal, maybe if. Well, obviously, it would still be a big deal because the game was technically played and they lost, but just reeks of corruption before and during the tournament, and just went on with what went on in the final and the games leading up to that. Obviously, just kind of piling on by just them gifting the host country the trophy here, even though they didn't deserve it or didn't earn it on the field, is just wild stuff and obviously just peak
Yeah.
AFCON behavior. So,
That's
just a wild
wild.
tournament down there, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was kind of trying to look at this, but what's the reasoning behind giving them so they just put it down as a 3-0 win? Like
Yeah, it's
what's
just
the
that's the uh obviously the score when you forfeit a game is just 3-0.
okay.
So,
Gotchas.
um,
Gotchas.
yeah.
Dude, just that's so wild. Like you never hear of this stuff going down and just the like literally stripping a team that won a championship
And
because
at this level too, like
yeah.
this isn't just some rinky dink. Like this is like the Euros of that continent. So,
Mhm. Like this doesn't mess with any like FIFA like qualifications for like World Cup and stuff like that. Like there was no
I don't
implications
think
of that,
so.
right?
No. Mm-mm.
Gotchas. Because both is Senegal and Morocco in the in FIFA
I believe so.
World
Yeah, I
Cup.
know Morocco is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Senegal's in as well.
Because that would have just added a whole nother layer to this. Like imagine like I don't know how it works, but um I'm sure this
Senegal actually plays the United States in a friendly game in Charlotte in May, by the way. So,
yeah, I saw that. I did see that. Yeah, I just didn't know that would have added a layer to it if it ended up like changing anything with like qualifications because I didn't know if like a winner from this got like an exemption or like instant qualifier to a certain thing or something like
no.
that, which would have just been craziness if like someone ended up missing the World Cup based on this result, like
Yeah.
with them rescinding the championship from Senegal, but obviously that didn't happen, but just
I like what do you
craziness.
think about like, obviously the technicality, there's probably like a certain amount of time that has to elapse before you officially call the game. But obviously, the game was not called per the referee. So,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about them retroactively coming back, months later and saying, no, we're going to give this to Morocco?
Yeah, I don't like the time that has passed, but obviously there's probably like an appeal that's been going on for months and them having to go through
I'm
all
sure
the
Morocco immediately, because of the
yeah,
whiners that they are.
during all
They're like,
the
oh, yeah.
yeah. I'm sure the appeal happened and then all the litigation and different things that had to go down
Yeah.
kind of after the tournament, but like
Crazy, dude.
I just think it's wild. Like obviously the referee, whether he was aware or not, didn't call the game. And so it's obviously a rule that isn't super well known. Cause like if it was super well known, first off, Senegal wouldn't have left the field for that long because no one would have tried to forfeit the game like they did. I mean, they ended up winning anyways. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like again, we both thought it was a joke when we first saw it. It's just that it's one of those things that's that crazy that your first instinct when you see it is like, oh yeah, this has to be fake. Like one of those fake profiles on Instagram that's like tweeting out like,
Yeah.
you know, John Shire just got fired from Duke, and it's like, no, he did it. Like that's fake, but like,
Yeah.
nah, real, like crazy, absolutely crazy. Very hopefully this doesn't set a precedent where like we start seeing teams just appealing finals for random stuff going on. Like
Yeah.
that would
I would be
suck.
for it if it's like, oh, obviously this was corruption or this was a bad call or whatever. But,
Mm-hmm.
well, not even a bad call. Like, I don't think I would be for that either, because that set that terrible precedent too. But yeah, probably best to just steer clear of that.
Yeah, hopefully this doesn't leak its way into international football. But for the time being, an interesting story for sure. And I don't know. Did it say that Senegal's trying to like reappeal it and
I'm
get it
sure
back?
they are. There's no
They
way they're
have to.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But I just heard
legal
FIFA
jargon
might
here.
rule on it. Like, I mean, FIFA is the governing body. They can just come in there and just do whatever they want. So I'm assuming if
Right.
they find it necessary, they can just say, nah, dude, you can't retroactively just take a trophy away.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me, the level that this is at. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is like a continental competition. This isn't some Senegalese national cup or whatever,
Right.
So
Right.
crazy.
Man, the wild world of sports.
Always entertaining.
Always entertaining. Without it, we wouldn't have a podcast. But with
right.
that being said, I think that's a pod, Sammy.
There's a pod. Long one.
It is a long one. We appreciate you guys. If you stuck around to the end, we really appreciate you guys. Obviously, most of you probably tuned out after the bracket was done or even before that. But if you made it this far, we really appreciate you. If you guys could, please go like and subscribe, rate and follow wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and obviously here on YouTube. We'd appreciate that a ton. Until the next time, we appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one. All right.
Peace.